it's a message so much more as an attitude. I can give you a really great example of this too, but I think having coming from a calm place and looking at your dog and remembering, like, this is your chance. This is your chance to help somebody maybe come to the other side, or if not come to the other side, maybe at least soften their view. And so I ask people in that situation, because usually somebody's being confrontational about it. There's rarely a person that's going, oh, I didn't know you had a pit bull, and don't you know they're dangerous? It's usually somebody who's like, how dare you have a dog like that out on the street? And I've had that happen to me so many times, I would hate to actually count how many times that happened. But you have to remember to be your best self in that situation, because that's the first chance you're ever going to have to change somebody's mind, especially somebody who's on the other side of the fence like that. And so I'd say, be calm. And for me, what I always do is I ask them where they're coming from. Why do you feel that way? What makes you think that? You know, what is your story? And try to meet people where they're coming from, instead of saying, like, don't you know that they were really great and the first war hero and this and that? Like, that doesn't matter. When you're afraid, you're not open in that way. So you need to talk to people where they're at. Look them in the eyes. Be gentle. Be compassionate. Find empathy if you can. Because a lot of people that have pit bull type dogs today hated them a few years ago, thought that they were dangerous, thought that they were vicious, thought that they were going to be all of these stereotypes. Some of them still doubt their dogs to this day because of the things that they've just heard over and over again. And so, you need to make sure that you're being educational, but that you're being really positive but gentle. Really, it's very hard to do when you're being yelled at by a stranger. And a lot of people really just don't react that way, unfortunately. But that is literally your first chance to change. If you change that mind, how many minds are they going to change because they crossed over, And so one of my favorite examples was at the Asheville Tattoo Convention a few years ago. They have all of the convention booths for the vendors are in the hallway of a hotel. It's a really nice hotel, the Renaissance downtown. But we were in the lobby area, and so anybody who was in the hotel could kind of come through the vendor section. And this guy came up to me, and he was an older gentleman, and he was like, how can you defend these dogs? What is wrong with you? And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, what, defend these dogs? Like, you're generalizing a lot. Like, what happened in your life? And so he told me that he had a dog that lived next door to a dog that was chained to a tree all day and all night. This dog never had any shelter, never had food most of the time, barely ever had water, and how this dog broke free off its chain one day and attacked his dog. And thankfully his dog survived, but I was just listening to him, and I didn't interrupt him, and I didn't tell him what I thought. I just heard him out. And so he started to calm down just because I was hearing him out, first of all. But when he was done, I said, did you hear what you just told me? And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, if your dog was attacked by a dog that was essentially abused, a dog that's living without care, I was like, does your dog live inside? And he's like, yeah. Does your dog sleep on the couch? Of course. Does your dog have food and water? Yeah. It's like, oh. So that poor dog that lived outside, not because it's a pit bull, but just a dog, like, don't you want that dog to have what your dog had? And he was like, I honestly never thought of it that way. I never even thought about the fact that dog was abused and how unfair that was. He's like, I just saw it as that dog attacked my dog. Right. And I was like, just saying, and he had a major breakthrough. And I had a breakthrough too, because I was like, it's so interesting to hear somebody tell you what they're so used to being frustrated about, and they're finally just getting to say it. Some people just don't get to talk about it. So for me, I'm also a human advocate, so I believe in humanity still. I'm one of the few, I feel like, at this point, but I love to hear where people are coming from, because that's the first chance you're going to get to get through to them. And even though I don't get through to everybody, I know that just giving people a platform to speak sometimes, just hearing why they hate them. Cool, you still hate them? Okay, good luck to you, high five. I can't help everybody, but even just letting somebody hear you out. I actually got there was a troll on Facebook who just loves, every time there's an opportunity to talk negatively about pit bull type dogs, this person trolls wherever they can. And so one day, they were on their usual rant, and I never participate, but I was in a special mood where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna just have some fun today. And it ended up that, you know, they started yelling at me about how I didn't care about their kid and I didn't care about this and that, and I was like, actually, I really do care about your kid, and that's exactly why I do what I do. And that's exactly why I want dogs to be safe and people to be safe. And they're like, you people never actually say like those things. I actually really appreciate that you said that. And I was like, well, yeah, I believe it. Like, I'm not out there like rallying for dogs that are dangerous. I'm rallying for people to be safe, and for dogs to be safe, you know. And they were just like, huh. And I was like, whoa. Like, one of them just even had like an aha moment, like, because they're so used to people screaming back and forth that they're not hearing each other. And I want to hear everybody. I want to know where they're coming from, because I want to get better at what I do.